So for my next trick, we're going to do a little asparagus salad. And again, right now, asparagus is coming in from lots of places, and really some beautiful asparagus. So we're going to give it a quick rinse. So we're going to give the asparagus a quick rinse. And when you work with asparagus, one of the things about asparagus, many people think it's woody, it's stringy. Well, the thing that you want to do, and when you go out and buy asparagus, it's not exactly cheap. So this hurts a little bit. We're all from Lebanon County, or many of us are. But there's always a spot in asparagus where it's going to break. And that's the part we don't want. So you do that natural break on each piece, and you got rid of the woody stem. And now you've hit the tender parts. And again, if you're making a stock, you'll have a use for that, but it's not something that I would serve my family. I always take the woody part off of the bottom. Now for this, we're going to be cutting up the asparagus, and we'll put it right into our serving dish. Well, we'll put it right into a bowl here, so we can finish the whole salad. We're doing fresh asparagus, so make sure that you bought something that's looking good and fresh, and we're going to simply give it a real simple chop. You want a nice sharp knife for this one. And in fact, let me move into the, now that the stove is cooled down, we'll work under the lamp. And we're going to do some real thin slicing on this one. What do you need, Gloria? Second drawer. So we're going to do some nice diagonal or bias slicing. I found that starting at the tops was the easy part. Sharpen up your knife and you'll be able to buzz right through it. And we're just going to work our way through this asparagus. Add it to our bowl. So we're working our way through it. We're getting a nice little, again, a beautiful little salad. It makes a very nice appearance. It's going to look great. You bring it to the next party that you attend. If you're a little leery about eating just raw, fresh asparagus, you can always blanch it in some boiling water for a minute or two, take it out, throw it into an ice bath. But you'll find that sliced this thin, and if you break off the bottoms, that you're going to actually have some pretty nice tender asparagus. And so you get the idea of what it's like to slice asparagus. So I've cheated a little bit. I've got some prepared for you. And we'll just throw some into the bowl. And we're going to have a nice little amount of asparagus, just about that much. That should work for our crowd. Now we're going to dress this with a cute little topping. Like I said, we're going to have some mint. There's going to be walnuts. There's going to be olive oil. There's going to be breadcrumbs. And of course, a little salt and pepper never hurt anybody. So we're going to season our layer once again. No point in making lots of dishes dirty. I'm getting good at that. We'll just go ahead and work right with the breadcrumbs right here. So we're going to go ahead and we have some toasted walnuts. Walnuts don't come toasted. They're going to come, they're not raw, but they are shelled and they're ready to work with. I popped these into the oven today at 300 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. Give them a little bit of a roast. And if you came up and touched them, you'll find that they're a little slippy. And again, we're toasting them not to toast them, but to draw out those oils and make them make them a little more flavorful for our recipe. We're going to give them a real simple chop. We don't want them too fine. This is not a food processor kind of gig. We're just going to give them a light chop. Because I like a lot of texture in my food. It's half the point of having the nuts in the first place. And so we got a nice size chop. You get something that's a little too big, just take it out on its own. But we don't want to break them down too fine. And we'll just put them right in with going right in with the breadcrumbs. This one here calls for a little bit of pepper flakes. We're just going to give it a little bit of a shake, not very much. Just enough to know that they're there. Also is going to call for some lemon juice and lemon zest. So we'll get the zest in here first. One of the things I like to do when you zest, you hold it kind of upside down compared to what most people do. You're drawing it towards yourself. And what we want to do is only get the outer part of the lemon, the shiny part. If you get into the white part, you've gotten into the bitter part of the lemon. So we're just going to go ahead and waste a whole lemon by going after the zest on the outside. But I get to see how much zest I'm collecting here on top. And we're looking for a teaspoon. So we're going to go a little ways here, but we're going to easily get our teaspoon out of this one lemon. Like I said, we get to break out all the gadgets today, which is kind of cool. Looks about a teaspoon to me, and we're just going to drop that right into our mix. We're also going to need a little lemon juice. So I always like to wake up lemons before we go ahead and slice them. Going for the next gadget. So whether you have a lemon or a lime, we can go ahead and squeeze away with this guy. And right away we get a seed. Isn't that the way it goes? They all surfaced. So we're going ahead and just add some fresh lemon right in here. And we're going to go ahead and use the whole lemon. And there you go, just like that, we've got our lemon juice, we've got our lemons, we've got the nuts. Last thing we're going to be adding is some mint, and we'll be adding some cheese, and finally some olive oil to get it to the consistency that we want. So they're calling for a 1/4 cup of mint. In the sample that I tested today, I thought that got to be a little much for me. But when you go ahead and make it, should you decide to do it, you use as much mint as you like. The less that you put in here, the more you have for mojitos, and there's nothing wrong with that. And again, we're going to do a little chiffonado in this. We need a little Parmesan. It's going to call for a half cup. So I've just simply changed up my grater to a finer grater because I don't want big chunks of Parmesan. This is a harder cheese. And we should be getting close to our half cup real fast. So let's put it all together. I'm going to give our little topping a little bit of a stir, get it all mixed up, because with the lemon juice in there, it's going to start to clump. So we'll put a little olive oil in there just to get it working with us. So we've added a little olive oil, so we've got nuts, breadcrumbs, mint, olive oil, lemon zest, lemon juice. And once we get that mixed to our satisfaction, it just goes right on top. It will take a little more olive oil to make it work. And then we're just going to give it a quick toss. Super fresh, super light. Not a lot of fat of any kind other than the cheese that we added, which I forgot to add the cheese. Oh no. The things you get with amateurs. Can't miss the cheese. This is why this is called home cooking. This is exactly how it goes at home. Oops, I forgot. When you turn around and you've got your ingredients staring at you, just hit the rewind button. For me, this looks a little dry. And that's how we do it. So there's your second dish, the asparagus salad with mint and walnuts. Let me fix my glasses. So I hope you enjoyed our little first edition of Fresh from the Market. Got some cute little items for you.